What's up, Bills Mafia? May is Mental Health and Wellness Awareness Month, and to help us talk about why this month is so important to the Buffalo Bills, we've got team clinician and sports psychologist Dr. Desaree Festa, better known as Dr. Des, in the building with us alongside one of our offensive linemen, Alec Anderson, to help us tell more about this month. But first, I want to start here with you guys. Dr. Des, I will start with you. What is the importance of mental health inside of this building?
Well, first, I'm so happy that there's a month that celebrates mental health and mental wellness. And I'm using the word celebration on purpose because it's something that could help enhance you. It could help you have better quality of life, perform better, have better relationships. So by giving attention to your mental health and wellness, it could really help optimize your life in so many different ways. And we really see that in the NFL. We see that with professional athletes. We see the direct correlation between how you think and how you feel and how that impacts you on game day, how it helps you perform. You know, all these guys are physically talented, but it's really that mental component, that mental resilience that is a difference maker. And we see tons of guys with so much mental strength here in this building that value mental health and wellness, which starts with Coach McDermott, Brandon Beane, and Terry Pagula.
So it starts at the top, Alec, and it trickles down to the players. Why has mental health become so important for you to the point where you want to be an advocate for it?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Maddy. I love being on your podcast. For me, it really started rookie year, and that was kind of like the basis and kind of the like small thought of everything of, you know, you get into the NFL and it's like the lights, the glamour, and people are like, oh, like you're doing your dream job, like this should be so fun. And it is, it's a great time, but it also comes with, you know, the stress and the weight of performing at the best of the best because you are playing with the best of the best. And so for me, getting into camp and you're an undrafted free agent, on paper you don't have the greatest odds going into camp. And so for me, I took on a mentality of like, if I have to fight every day, I'll fight every day. And that's what I had to do. But that takes a toll on you off the field mentally. And for me, it was starting to affect my game of like being passionate and being, you know, driven to want to go out there every day and be happy to do it and be happy to be out there. And it felt more of like a task and a chore. And so I started meeting with Dr. Des, and she really helped me, you know, I guess tap into my emotional side and kind of get out the feelings, not only of the stress here at work, but also, you know, past trauma of you being a kid up until that point of you sitting down and willing enough to be strong enough to say, hey, I need help and I need somebody to talk to.
I think there's a lot of misconceptions around speaking to somebody about the emotional side of life, the emotional side of being an NFL player, but really reframing it into thinking, actually, it's very mature to be able to do this. It is very strong to be able to come forward and talk to someone. Dr. Des, when you see a player in their rookie season have the maturity to say, I want to tap into something I haven't tapped into yet, how do you accept when somebody's like, hey, I want to start meeting with you and see what I can get out of that extra 1% to 2%?
Yeah, we give a lot of careful attention to our rookies because it's a major life transition that's happening at that time. Alec, you could probably remember going back.
It's crazy.
Longest year of your life. You don't have an off season, you're training, and then you jump full force into an NFL team, which is a step up from the college level. You're moving to a new city that you probably never thought you would live in. Like, there's just so many different life transitions happening.
A lot of guys probably haven't heard of Buffalo before coming here.
Did you hear of Buffalo before?
I only knew it from Bruce Almighty, the movie. And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
That's the way the cookie
Alec came
crumbles.
from born and raised California, correct?
Southern California. I'm polar opposites.
Yeah,
of,
couldn't get any farther.
Yeah, no, honestly, couldn't.
Yeah. So we give extra attention to our players that are going through the professional transition, the life transition, and we provide support. So I make sure I check in with the rookies, but Alec is an example of a player that really took advantage of the resource and was very proactive and was willing and had the strength to say, hey, I need more help, I need more support during this time. And that strength has really helped propel him to having a significant role on this team, not just on the field, but even just who he is in the locker room with his teammates, looking out for himself, looking out for others. That's just such an important quality and mature quality of Alex.
So being able to come forward and seek out every resource you can within this building, which is so awesome that the Bills provide a service to have Dr. Des in here full time. It's not the same for every NFL team. So to be in the trenches with the guys, you're a familiar face already. What do the meetings look like? What does it look like when you work with Dr. Des, Alec?
For me, it kind of works in different ways. We first started meeting outside and walking around, and kind of that was like my thing. I like being out, kind of being more active, of just being in nature and kind of hearing what nature has to offer. And so we started meeting at St. John Fisher during camp outside, and we would either meet underneath a tree in the courtyard, or sometimes we'd go and walk around the dorms and kind of just do whatever we needed. And that's like the best thing about Dr. Des is she doesn't have like a cookie cutter way to, all right, one size helps everybody. It's more of like, you come in, let's talk, let's really see what's going on, see what we need to do. And then it's more of like, all right, now what tools do I have, or what tools do I need to get for you to help you be as successful as not only a football player, but a human, and for a lot of us, husbands, fathers, and boyfriends.
I love that you mentioned the side off the field, because everybody can tap into becoming more mentally strong and becoming just aware of their mental health and accepting it and knowing, hey, I can do some work here. Dr. Des, when you look at, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach for every single person, what are some of the tools that you can use to tap into teaching people about mental health?
Yeah, I really appreciate the fact that Alex said it's not a one-size-fits-all, because that is my approach, to really meet them where they're at. So I appreciate the fact that you noticed that. Thank you, Alec. And literally just met him where he wanted to be, which is outside. I distinctly remember meeting on those bench chairs during your 2022 season. And that's a really important piece when it comes to mental health care, is meeting people where they are at. And so that is an approach I do, but many people also do that approach of meet the person where they're at. And it's important for me to come alongside them and help guide them, but they have the answers. They know what they need. Sometimes they just need the time, the space, the room to kind of process their thoughts and feelings and give themselves direction on how to move forward. And I represent that space for them. Also having an awareness of what this life is like, since I am along the journey with them, and all the different demands with that. So yeah, that mental strength piece is equipping them with different tools and strategies, so they have all these different resources in their mental toolbox. And some of them are already doing a lot of good things already. So part of my job is noting that and emphasizing, like, wow, that's a great tool, that's a great strategy. When you get to the professional level, it doesn't happen by accident. And it's not just on talent alone. These are really savvy individuals who are mentally resilient. So there's a lot of things that they do already. So part of my job is to help highlight the good things that they're doing and then add more to that toolbox. So when they hit times of stress or struggle on the field or off the field, they could use those different tools with them. So like one common tool that we work on is the skill and the science behind the breathing piece.
Speaking of the breathing piece, I know we spoke beforehand on an earlier podcast episode, and you spoke about how breathing helps you. Dion Dawkins was on Pat McAfee's show yesterday talking about box breathing and how that is important for him to do. What are some of the tools you use to integrate mental strength into being an NFL player? Yeah,
so for me, I do a 3 count in and a 4 count out of my mouth, and like 3 count in through my nose. And so Dr. Des approached us in camp, I think my rookie year, because I had this big boom box and I was walking around in the dorms playing music. And so she was like, hey, I'm doing a mental health thing upstairs. Like, would you be fine if we used your boom box? And so I was like, yeah, that's fine. So we went up there and we would play like rain music, ocean sounds, and like different things, and kind of just go through the breathing. And it would be like a 10-15 minute guided meditation of just like relaxing, detaching from the day. And for me, that's really kind of what carries me through everything, is my breathing as well. And it's so interesting that a lot of these tools that you speak about, I mean, being on the football field, you guys are warriors. It is time to go. It is a lot of energy, and coming off the field or trying to get yourself in a space where you're ready to do that seems like it's a lot of
calming techniques, in your breathing, in the meditation? Are there any other tools that you use? So many players also speak about how self-talk is such an important piece of the game.
Self-talk for me is really big, and it was the book that she gave me called Do Hard Things. And one of the key points that I took from the book was pulling yourself from the first person into a third person point of view. And that is one of the things that really in every aspect of life, I kind of do it. If I'm at home and I'm stressed out with my girl or my fiance and I doing wedding planning, I'm like, all right, like it's stressful time. And so like just from there all the way to the football field, I just pull myself out and I'm like, all right, let's look at the broad aspect of what we're doing. Okay, yeah, we're at the football game. We have to block this person, but everybody else has to do it. Everybody else has to block. And you've done this and you have the confidence to do it. So go out and execute. And kind of like, that's how I do it to myself. And I don't say we or me, I like direct it. And in the book, it tells you to say your name. And so like, I'm like, Alec, like you can do this, Alec. Like it feels good to like go out there and do your job, right, Alec? And it's like having a conversation with a friend and you feel like those positive reinforcement and the positive energy coming back into you. You're like, oh yeah, like I do got this, like I can go do it. So it's that, I think that's my biggest tool that I use every day.
I think the thing to highlight what Alec just said, if you notice, he'll be introduced a skill or a tool, and then he'll do even more of his own research and then integrate it into other areas of his life. Right. Like we talked about the mental recovery sessions that we have at the end of training camp, the end of a day, because they're very long days, as we know, to help them downshift to sleep. Then he takes that in a skill and then applies it to other areas of his life, like playing a game or other life circumstances. Same thing with this book. Like he just takes a skill and then has really great self-awareness of knowing when can you apply it into different areas and then just let it kind of penetrate throughout different areas of your life. That is a great example of being a pro when it comes to building your mental resilience.
Dr. Des, I know this is your job and you've been in it for so many years, but how fascinating is it to watch players come through your doors, learn these techniques, apply them, and then become better players on and better humans off the field?
Yes, the better humans in general is the most important piece. The added perk is that by being a better human and just being more mentally resilient and thriving, it just gives them more brain space to navigate everything they need to do on the field as well. And so that is definitely rewarding, but also being year 6 for me now with the team. I've seen a lot of guys grow, mature, develop, and it's been really rewarding seeing them come in as rookies. I distinctly remember Alec as a rookie, and now seeing where he is as a professional. It's just, really rewarding, and I feel honored to be on the journey with them.
Being in the NFL, Alec, there's a lot of confidence that goes along with playing whatever position you play in. I look up to you guys so much because it takes so much confidence to go out there and do what you do every single day. Confidence is something that we all need in our lives, and it's something that everybody struggles with week to week, day to day even. How did you get your confidence, and what are some tools that help you maintain it, keep it, and increase it when you need it the most?
Like Dr. Des said, it starts with Coach McDermott and all the way up to our owner, Mr. Pagula. And with them kind of, being owners of a football team and the head coach of a football team, and seeing them say, hey guys, like we go, we talk, we share our feelings, it makes you kind of go like, oh, all right, we want to do that.
What are some of the misconceptions around mental health? Because you think about an NFL team, you think about integrating mental health into everyday practices, and you think about these big, larger-than-life men wanting to tap into something like that. But on the outside looking in, I know there's misconceptions about anything in life, including mental health.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about 2 misconceptions, Maddy, about the mental health and the confidence piece too. First is we think mental health means something's wrong or something's broken. So mental health is just like physical and the health, meaning like it's the state of health that you have in your mind, your emotions, your relationships. It does not have to be good or bad. But it's really about being proactive in your mental space, giving time to that just like you do the physical. And these guys give a lot of time to the physical, but they also carve out time for the mental piece. Like Alec's giving you a lot of examples of carving out that time in that proactive way. So mental health is not about something that's wrong. It's about optimization and being proactive and building resilience, or building on the resilience you already have. And then also, your previous question about the confidence piece of things. Sometimes we have this misconception that confidence is you have it or you don't, and it's a very black and white concept. But really, confidence is a skill that you build over time, and you could be super confident in one thing and then maybe not as quite confident in another thing. And so it's something you're always working on, but we don't want to be perfectionistic with our view of confidence, meaning that we have to be mentally tough in every single moment, and if we're not confident. So it's always just something that you're just taking care of, you're working on, you're nurturing, is the skill of confidence as well.
Alec, how has tapping into mental health and wellness and applying these tools to your everyday life changed you as a player and a person?
It's changed me as a player to really kind of, it coincides honestly, as in my play on the field, as people can tell, like I'm vocal, I'm loud, but that's not me being a hothead. I'm actually very grounded on the games, and like I know what I'm saying to these people. Like I'm very conscious. I'm not like so amped up, because that's one of my things that I figured out by kind of talking to Dr. Des over the years is I sometimes let my emotions take control and will either be really high or really low based on what's going on. So the way I have taught myself is always kind of stay right in the middle. So like if a big play happens, like I get that second of like, oh yeah, like that's crazy. And then it's like, all right, a deep breath, let it out. And then it's back into like, okay, what are we doing? What's going on? Like, what do I need to know? And so for me, I think that has transitioned into off the field as well, in the sense of like kind of just enjoying life and being in the present and actually not thinking too far into the future, thinking into the past of like, oh, like I wish I could have done a little bit different here. I wish I didn't like, maybe talk to somebody the way I did or say something to somebody that I don't want to actually say. But I think that's kind of helped me throughout life of like kind of being able to relax and stay even keeled and not, be on a kind of, how I used to say, a knee-jerk reaction for my emotions. Like what I'm feeling that instant is the correct one and is the one I should be 100% feeling. And now it's more of like, all right, like, yeah, you can feel that, but let's bring it back in. And if you have thoughts that are coming in that aren't the thoughts you want, it's okay to acknowledge them and say, okay, yeah, I did have that thought. Now you can slightly move it to the side and kind of go to the next one. And that's kind of what my abilities have come to with therapy and with being able to, mental health and wellness.
So the Alec Anderson with this type of perspective is easygoing in the fact that
more happy.
he can be more happy, more present, more in the moment, and know when he needs to ramp it up and then get that extra 1% to 2% out of it, because 100%. You get to the NFL and everybody is the best of the best, but how is tapping into that mental health and wellness and strength part of it all really turn it up a notch for you on the field? You were a big part of this offense last year.
I think with your mental health being good, I feel like your physical health kind of follows suit, in the sense of like, if your mind and body connection is right, I feel like you can go out there and you can have the best games of your life, and your confidence will grow each week with the backing of your mind saying, hey, you got this, you can do this each week, just as long as you keep your preparation and keep kind of your mental mechanics the same throughout the week. And I think that's kind of what helped me during the season, from going from a practice squad player my first year to an active person in my second year but not dressing anytime, to now being thrown in. And the first game, the Cardinals game last year, I played 9 positions. Like, you go in there and you just need to do what you need to do. And it's, for me, every time that we would walk out of the break or out of the huddle and like break our hands, Josh would just be finishing the last play. I inhale and we clap and I exhale, and like you run to the line. And that's kind of like my set to like, all right, here we go. Like, the play is coming. Okay, breath is out, let's go execute. And that's kind of how I've always now has functioned since really meeting with Dr. Des my rookie year.
The game is chaotic, life is chaotic, but when you have grounding techniques like the ones that we've talked about in this interview, it can help you center, it can help you relax, and it can help you perform at your best. And Dr. Des, we're so blessed to have you in this building, and the Bills are such an incredible organization for allowing players to tap into something like this. But this is not just for NFL players, it's for everybody. So how can our viewers kind of tap into what we've been talking about today?
Yes, I am very blessed and grateful to be in this building in particular because our leaders believe in it and they echo these messages. So it's a right environment to really cultivate the mental health and wellness space. And it's a great example to the community and others of how just prioritizing your mental health and wellness, being intentional with it, meeting with a professional in that space, how much value it could continue to add in your life. So we are doing a mental moment series. I don't know if this is our time for a plug. Where once a week we are putting mental health information out there, strategies and techniques out for the public so that they can use. It's not something we just want to kind of hold and hide here at the Bills, but we want to help the Buffalo community. So every week on our social media, we have tips and tools out there for everyone, so everyone can benefit from mental health and wellness training.
You can find that on buffalobills.com. This week's Mental Moment is all about self-talk. So Dr. Des guides us through ways that we can improve our self-talk, recognize some of those negative thoughts that come in, but also recognize the positive talk that can be within us and how to get the best out of something like that. Guys, thanks so much for taking the time to sit down and talk with us about the importance of this month of mental health and wellness awareness month and everything that goes along with it inside of this building, because I think it's really cool what you guys do.
Thank you, Maddy, for having
Appreciate
us
it.
and valuing this
Yes.
on your podcast.
Of course, anytime. Thanks, guys.